Alexander.
Hi guys, I'm Paige.
And this is Shakat Journal.
Do you want to go first, Alexander? Or wait, no. I get to go first.
You get to go
it's my
first.
topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know what Shakat Journal is, we are a new publication based in Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada, that is a youth magazine made by youth for youth. So a lot of the things we talk about are kind of Yukon specific, as well as like millennial specific. And that's just the magazine part. The rest of it is we are trying to create a movement by training kids in multimedia, technology, software, and business. So this is our very first podcast. And yeah. Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is, like, we've had our launch party. We've printed a small magazine already, but it's been 2.5 months now since then.
Has it been 2.5? When did we?
The launch was on the 19th.
19th
September.
Whoa, it feels like it was like a week ago.
I know. That was such a big project.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we built this magazine, print edition and online, in 8 weeks, and also held a launch party for it. So it was a lot of work. It was kind of a big deal. And then I went on vacation for a month, which I really needed. But now I'm back, and we're trying to get back in it. Alexander, do you want to talk about one of your topics?
How did you find out about the Alexander? Did I tell you, or?
Yeah, I think I was in Europe somewhere, and you sent a picture to me of it, and it killed me.
I think it's really funny because it started off as just a sketch Skylar did in his notebook of me, and he became obsessed with it, basically. And I took a picture of it. He's like, hey, we should make stickers of this. And so I put it in Illustrator, did all the tracing or whatever, colored it, and then we printed it onto like 40 stickers.
And that video was huge on our Facebook page, by the way.
I think Skylar has been sticking them places. I haven't.
Yeah, so if you see Alexander stickers around town, it's not Alexander who's doing it, okay? It's Skylar.
Of course. Well, that's basic. Like, that's the gist of it. I mean, we've been handing them out to pretty much everybody who comes into the center.
Yeah, it's pretty much part of our branding now.
I know. I saw Caitlin posted a picture of, like, on Facebook, just because I'm friends with her. And she's like, look at the new layout of my room or whatever. And, like, I saw the sticker tacked on her wall. It's like, oh my god.
So yeah, come and get your Alexander sticker if you want to be part of the club.
$29.95.
We've got 2 versions now. One has him wearing a red t-shirt, and the other has him wearing a Shakat t-shirt.
I really wanted to come in on Halloween in like my red shirt and my orange hat and say I'm dressed as the guy on the sticker. Yeah,
so that has been a really interesting part of the last 3 weeks. And I'm going to talk about what I've been working on since I've been back. So, most people probably don't know this because most people don't know me, but I've been vegetarian since I was 14 years old. And coming up on 27 now, so that's been 12 years. And recently I've realized that I haven't felt physically all that great in 12 years. So I was like, okay, I don't put enough priority into creating a vegetarian diet that works, where I feel good. So it's time to start eating some meat. So as it's been 12 years, I stopped eating meat before I really knew how to cook. I don't know how to cook meat. So I've been documenting my journey on cooking meat on my own, and it's been interesting. I cooked a chicken breast the other night, which was really bizarre for me. I haven't had chicken in years and years, like years. and it turned out really good, I thought. And for the past 2 days since I've had it, I've felt amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've been documenting all of this so far?
Well, I've been documenting like the cooking part
Right.
and the eating part, and gonna make a video about it for the website. But I just thought it was interesting because most people that I've seen on YouTube are like, okay, I'm going vegetarian, but this is kind of the opposite. So it's kind of a different take on the diet. The reasons why I became vegetarian in the first place were environmental reasons and for like my love of animals, and so I'm trying to stick to that as much as I can by buying local meat. I'm really lucky living in Yukon that I have friends who hunt.
Yeah.
And so I can get wild game, which is really, really good. If you've never had moose, you have to try some moose. And like there's all kinds of fishing and stuff up here, so it's really clean meat. It's really environmentally friendly. There's no runoffs from factory farms. These animals aren't being abused. So that's how I justify that. And how I stick to like my ethics, which is to try to be as environmentally conscious as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you all tune in for that, because I think it'll be really interesting. And yeah. What other topics do you have, Alexander?
Other topics do I have? So I guess Paige and I both went to the same college course. I started a bit earlier than her, but we both ended up in the same classes. I don't know how that works.
Because you did it over a year and a half.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I did. So we were both in the multimedia it's a mouthful. Multimedia communications program at the college, a certificate program.
Mm-hmm.
And there, basically, we gained most of the skills that we use in our job today. Like video editing and graphic design and
Adobe software and business writing.
Yeah, like business communication stuff, which is essential to our job today.
That's all our job is. Well, and a lot more, but
and a lot more. But it's like kind of right at the core of what we do.
It's kind of cool to use like all the skills we learned in like college every day.
Yeah, it's weird to think how that if I hadn't or we hadn't gone through that college, we might not have been in this job right now.
Well, yeah, I definitely wouldn't have been, because you wouldn't have gotten me this job.
Yeah, I don't know what more I wanted to say about that. It's just kind of cool that almost immediately out of college, we're in like a graphic design and video environment.
Yeah, a really creative multimedia environment.
And 5 days a week. I mean.
Yeah, full time. Like, who else gets this opportunity? Who else like graduates from college with a 1 year, 1.5 year certificate?
Yeah.
And gets an amazing job.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't happen anywhere else.
No, it's really a dream come true.
Yeah.
I think that really speaks to, I guess, what the Yukon is too, because that kind of stuff, in my opinion anyways, happens a lot more here.
Oh, no, you're totally right, because this is the reason why I moved up here from Victoria, is because with the schooling I have now, and even with the amount of experience I have now at this point, I wouldn't be able to get a job there.
Mm-hmm.
And not doing this kind of work either. Not doing, like, anything I want, essentially. Like, design-wise, anything I want.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of just, like, how things happen in the Yukon, or, like, I should mention our amazing teacher, John. He was an awesome teacher, and I don't know that in any other program anywhere else but the Yukon would we celebrate by going to our instructor's house after.
Yeah, that was cool. Just going for beers. Well, Alexander didn't drink beers, but I drank beers.
I think I did drink beers
that
day.
Oh, you did? You didn't like it?
I hated it.
Well, you had an Angry Beaver, right?
Did I? I don't know what it was.
I think it was an Angry Beaver.
I didn't like it that much.
Awesome. Yeah, anything else about our experience there?
Experience there? I don't know. I mean, it was just. I just wanted to mention that how that came to be, kind of.
Yeah, well, it's a really important part of like how you and I got to where we are now,
Mm-hmm.
and how this whole project has been able to do as well as, or how this whole project has shaped, really,
In a way, yeah.
because of the skills that you and I have.
Yeah.
High five.
High five. We did that right in front of the microphone.
It's perfect. That's what we want. We're just patting ourselves on the back here.
Yeah.
I
don't know. That's all I had to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks, Yukon College. Thanks to John and Hillary and Colleen and all of our other instructors and supporters there.
Yeah. Really wouldn't be here without you.
Absolutely not. Okay, so another topic I thought would be good to discuss, because it's really hot in the news right now, is all the sexual harassment and assault scandals going on in Hollywood, specifically with Harvey Weinstein, and now I heard yesterday Louis C.K.
Yeah, that was a hard hitter.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. I mean, Louis C.K., I love his comedy.
I know, I love him too. I was so heartbroken.
I know.
About that. I'm like, really? Really?
I'm not really well versed on the topic. Do you know, like...
Well, what all the headlines are saying, I haven't delved any deeper into it,
Yeah.
because I like to wait for the story to develop a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more before I start really getting into it and forming opinions. But what all the headlines that I'm seeing are saying is Louis C.K. crossed a line, says 5 women.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the line is. Like, it could have been, like, he did something, like, really bad.
Yeah.
Because I think women have been taught what the line is, and it may not necessarily be what they think it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? It may be, like something as bad as, like, rape or molestation. We don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Or it could have just been, like, he slapped her on the ass, which is not okay.
No.
Which is not cool. Either. And then there's also the case of, what's his face? Kevin Spacey, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, he came out as gay, yay, good for him.
Yeah.
But then it also came out that he, like, sexually assaulted or came on to, like, a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Which is really, really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay in any situation. Like,
No,
good for you for being gay, but also you for being a pedophile.
Yeah.
Like, so I've stopped watching House of Cards, which is one of my favorite shows on Netflix right now, because of that. Because sexual harassment is not okay ever.
No. It's just not ever. I don't know how clear you need to make it.
No. So it's like
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it's like going back to Louis C.K., it's like, what was this line? Like, what side of the, like, is either side of the line okay?
I think the fact that there is a line, like, I don't know what that means, but just, it kind of, to me, it kind of feels like the line, quote unquote, is like a threshold of tolerance, but I don't think there should be any tolerance for that kind of behavior, do you?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what I was saying with,
Yeah.
like, women have their idea of where the line is,
Yeah.
but then there's also society's idea of
Yeah.
where the line is. It's like, you're right, there should be no line, there should be no tolerance.
And I think it's really, I mean, after all this whole, like, the hashtag Me Too movement, this whole thing, even especially with the Hollywood accusations and stuff, it's kind of crazy and unreal to see just how...
Rampant?
Yeah, just see how it is and how far it went, like, with Harvey Weinstein. Oh, I don't care if I pronounce his name right.
No.
But it's really disgusting, honestly.
Yeah. And it's like, it happens to every girl.
Yeah.
And it happens to a lot of guys. Like,
Yeah.
it happens to everybody, and we don't talk about it because it's a power thing, right?
Yeah.
And the powerful are generally the ones who do the harassing and
Yeah.
do the assaulting. But they don't want the weak, the victims,
Mm-hmm.
the survivors, to talk about it. Because whatever reason. But now people are speaking out about it, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's going to make for some big changes.
Yeah.
Like, was it our federal legislature or federal government who started, I don't know if they're drafting the policies or if they're implementing the policies now, to, like, hit hard on harassment in the workplace.
Yeah.
But I think that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because any harassment, sexual or otherwise, is not okay.
And it needs to be, like, yeah, like you said, it's not okay. That needs to be, something needs to happen in those situations. Whether, I don't know what that might be, but definitely it's not dealt with enough, in my opinion.
Totally. And I think we also need to start working with school systems to teach younger people that, like, A, this is not okay to do to someone else, and B, it's not okay to have it done to you, and you can stand up for yourself, and
Yeah.
other people will stand up for you.
I think that's one of the biggest, it's like, I think people, especially like teenagers or kids, they don't know that they're allowed to say, this happened to me.
Yeah, well, and also they may not know, like, it may not occur to them that this is not okay.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Because it's just something that happens, and they're just like, this is just something that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just something that happens, it hurts.
Yeah.
And they need to have those tools to be like, wait a second, this is not okay.
Yeah. I definitely think, though, after this whole movement, that there's going to be some changes.
Good. And it's going to benefit everybody, not just women, not just Hollywood. It's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, those are good changes. Maybe something we can do a story on in the future.
Yeah.
I think so. Like, it's a really big topic, but there's stuff we can delve into, and there's lots of material there, so.
Yeah. I think any way that we can help bring awareness to the issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. Because that is our mandate. We are the Change Project.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna help change for the better anywhere we can.
I have the Yukon Poster Project written down, but I don't know, I'm not educated on the topic to talk about it.
We should talk about what we're doing with it, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to start that then?
Yeah, I guess. So, the Youth of Today Society, which is the center that we're based out of, was commissioned to do a poster for the Department of Education, that kind of explains and visually communicates some of the changes that the Yukon government and the NFPP are making to Yukon curriculum in schools, and so we were kind of documenting that over the last little while,
yeah,
with several film appointments, like the unveiling of the poster,
yeah,
as well as filming some discussions between residential school survivors and social studies 10 teachers.
I believe, yeah.
So that they could help to understand this new program that they're adding to Social Studies 10 that educates children on residential schools, which is something that I didn't learn about in school.
No.
Maybe like a paragraph
when
we were learning about Canadian history, but I didn't really know the extent of it until I was probably around 23.
Yeah, and that's a big problem in my opinion, because that side of history, I guess, just kind of gets swept under the rug, and it's not okay. Because, like, I know a lot of, I don't know, it might seem like a long time ago to some people, but it's really not. It's less than a century ago that this stuff happened.
Yeah. Well, and the last residential school closed in 94?
I think, Yeah, it's something in the 90s, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Like,
And
not that long
and
ago.
that's crazy. Like, when you think about residential schools, you think about like the 60s, but like the last one closed in the 90s.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I know. And like other things that people like don't really know much about are like the 60s scoop.
Yeah.
I was just listening to a podcast today, this morning, called Canada Land, or
Yeah.
produced by Canada Land, called Commons.
Okay.
And they were just talking about the 60s scoop and how not many people know about it.
No.
And like that's a big issue because I feel like if more people knew about like 60s scoop,
Mhm.
residential schools, why First Nations people were removed from their land and put on reserves,
Yeah.
they'd be a lot less racist today
Mm-hmm.
towards Indigenous people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like poverty is a thing that disproportionately affects First Nations people,
Mhm.
but there's a reason.
Yeah.
And the reason is the Canadian government. Sorry, Canadian government. No, I'm not sorry to the Canadian government.
Okay.
Screw that. They did this, and this is why it's happening. And it's being perpetuated by people's lack of understanding.
Yeah. I'm glad that there's a change happening, because in the school system, anyways, because even in my friend groups, like just like offhand conversation, people make comments about stuff. It's like, oh, why is residential school survivors, they get money? It's like blah blah blah. It's like, well, you don't know what you're talking about, so shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really good that they're putting this part of the curriculum in schools now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think like I've lived in a lot of different provinces, and I feel like the relationship between First Nations here and non-First Nations is so much different.
Yeah.
And I think people here are more aware, like settlers here, or non-First Nations, are way more aware of First Nations culture here than they are in other provinces.
Yeah.
Like it's not perfect here,
but yeah.
But it's more ingrained. You see it, like with our murals and with all the art and the really strong First Nations governments here. In other parts of Canada, like
it's not seen at all.
No, like growing up in Alberta, I rarely saw anything First Nations. Like you know, we'd see teepees at theme parks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I heard about reservations and stuff like that in school, and they
popular culture.
Yeah, and like pop culture references and whatever. But up here, it's way different, and I'm not sure what those reasons are. Probably because contact was made a lot later.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I think Yukon is a leader in reconciliation.
Yeah.
And like it's not perfect, but it's a good example of where the other provinces can get to if we all work together and just show a little bit of understanding.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember at the elders panel during that conference, he said something I really liked, but I can't remember what the exact quote was. I think it was something along the lines of like, what reconciliation is. It's not like here, I'm gonna do this for you. It's like what needs to happen is determined by the party damaged.
Yeah.
And I think the education system in the Yukon is a step in the right direction with that.
Yeah, with like including the like NFPP in its curriculum change and including more First Nations way of teaching in the curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of what this poster is about, is how they're incorporating First Nations teaching, land-based learning, hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the curriculum, which I think will only benefit kids, First Nations and non-First Nations.
Do we want to? Never mind.
It's okay. We can always edit it out, right?
I was just gonna say, do we want to mention that I'm kind of the poster boy for the?
Oh yes. And Alexander is quite literally the poster boy for this project because he is in the very middle of the poster.
Direct center.
Which we love. Because even though Alexander is an introvert, he's kind of all over the place in stickers, in posters. It's awesome. So yeah, be prepared to see lots more of Alexander in the future.
Alexander the movie.
All right, yeah, we're gonna make that happen.
Okay.
Okay, Alexander, it's a Friday.
Yeah.
What are you doing for the weekend?
What am I doing for the weekend? Nothing. I'm probably gonna play some video games and my parents are coming over. That's about it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean my house.
I will clean the house as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if your parents are coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah, clean my house, take my dog for a walk. That's probably about it.
No crazy plans.
Yeah, so should we sign off?
Yeah.
All
I think that's a solid half hour. So.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening.
Do we know how often we're gonna make these?
We have no idea when we're gonna make these yet. But we will let you know in the next podcast.
We will bombard you with updates.
Yeah. So please like us on Facebook if you haven't already. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And hopefully SoundCloud if this is on there.
And hopefully SoundCloud, which this should be on. We will have all of our information, all of our links in the description box or panel or whatever social media thing is there. But yeah, thank you for listening. This is...
I'm Alexander.
And Paige, and we are Shakat Journal.
We'll get better at that.
Okay, bye.
Bye.